Hello, guys. We're into the
Hello.
game. Andy. I'm going to get your thoughts on the draft because you just heard Suns fan, NP, obviously, the fast lineup. I think also you do have KYXY for IGV, which is sort of a bit disconcerting if you're an IGV fan. I think he's a good player, but I think they don't have one of the best players in the world in Paparazzi. What do you think about the draft?
I think I would prefer to have Paparazzi's Ember over KYXY. I don't
No
even
offense
think
to
he would
KYXY.
take offense to that.
Yeah.
I think he would probably be like, yeah, you're right. It happens. But it's what they needed because they needed some safe lane that would be able to control a little bit of tempo. Because look at what NP want to do, right? They want to crush the lanes, and then they want to just take towers. So you need this hero who can kind of function on relatively low item progression and deal damage, and also be able to fight consistently. That's also something that's super important. So the cores in a safe lane who can do that are pretty limited. So you need this hero that can initiate fights. Ember can do that. You need high damage with no items. Ember does that too. And if it does stretch out into the later stages of the game, I think the MP will struggle. Because again, Ravage, Exorcism, they're going to have vision control with the Night Stalker as well. It's just execution based for NP. Can they take over the game fast enough to outpace what IGV wants to do? Because if they can't, it's going to get real rough. So I think it's pretty much about who plays better.
So how fast are you thinking NP want to come online with these heroes? Are we talking before 10 minutes, around 10 minutes, post 10 minutes? What's the timing window for NP? And what items are we going to be looking for as well for them to start getting and grouping up as a team?
Well, clearly Blink Puck is very important. I think the offlane, they might even keep Aoi down there. Depends on what happens. So if it's a tree and a Puck with the Drought Aura, God, that lane is going to be incredibly difficult for them to deal with.
Yeah.
And it really does also depend on, what lane does IGV pressure? That's the thing that I'm constantly thinking about right now. What lane is IGV looking at and saying, okay, we're going to win this lane? Because I'm looking at NP's lineup and I'm going, they're going to win all three lanes. And that's scary. So if you win all three lanes, you kind of have this buffer. So you don't have to win by 15, 20 minutes even. You just need to keep that map control. That's all they need to do.
Right. I feel like one sub up, though, and NP could be in some serious trouble. That's the disconcerting thing. Like, you lose maybe one or two team fights, all of a sudden NP, they're not out of the game, obviously, but it feels like IGV sort of did the same thing yesterday, where they, were kind of behind in the beginning of the game, and they were, one or two fights. And then they kind of just crushed it from that point on. And I think the same sort of thing can happen this game against.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just like the rock versus the paper. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just rock paper scissors, different types of lineups. NP going for the lane control on the heavy-ish push, and IGV just have crazy good team fight.
Yeah. We'll see how it turns out. Oh no, please, Kale. Excellent.
Kale.
We were doing so well, guys. This tournament had been going so good. Apparently, Injali is having some issues either with his computer or his net. One of the two. We shall see as we will go back to the clean feed. We have more beautiful shots of the NP and IGV guys. What was I going to say? So, I want to talk about this Night Stalker. Usually when you are a Night Stalker, right around that first night time, you want to have level 3 and you want to start roaming around. If they keep the pressure on this bottom lane, does that force him to stay here? Or can he roam, I won't say freely, but can he roam around and still find kills during that first night, despite the pressure from bottom?
It's crazy hard to find a kill in this game. Like, off lane you have what? Potentially Puck Treant. Right. And then middle lane you have a Queen. But the hero that you're ganking for is also important. So even if it wasn't a Queen, you have a Death Prophet. It's like you can't really set up kills on mid or bottom unless you have the CM as well. So I think that if they want to really secure kills, they're going to have to move in tandem. And then top lane is probably the easiest place to get kills because it's a drow. You can kind of just tower dive and run at her because you have two strength heroes and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a pretty difficult Night Stalker game to find action. But at the same time, if they don't get totally smashed in lanes, I think that their lineup will have an easier time executing.
All right. We will see how it goes for both squads. Very interesting draft for the first game from MP, and really from IGV. It's more of the same that we saw yesterday. We'll see if it does work out. Again, starting things off, I do want to point out AUI did place this ward. He actually smoked up, came right in, and they almost scouted him too with dogfights. He came here as he was dropping the ward, but AUI was able to get out in time. So smart plays from the tree and protector. He's able to get the ward down. Pretty good vision as well. It is going to block the camp as it's in the spawn. And then we'll see how this tri-lane bottom goes, and we'll see if it's going to be that aggressive tri-lane from NP to start things off.
No, I don't think it will from the movement, yeah.
AUI's already top. So, but
it is not like... Potentially. Don't underestimate how hard tree hits.
That's true. Oh, that's not fun already. Okay, maybe not. We'll see.
Unfortunate part is he doesn't have level 1 shrine anymore, so he's just down that regen. All that damage that you can do in the early game now as Treant is like amplified to offlaners because of that sole reason. It's very, very annoying. But you can see in July came prepared. Yeah. He's got the tangos, he's got the south. So he shouldn't be, I guess, too much worse for wear in this situation. But yeah, it looks like they are going to keep Pi down here. Yeah. Interesting choice, but I guess at the same time, these heroes have a very difficult time closing in on 2 ranged heroes. We'll see, though.
They're going to try, though. MSS is just going to jaunt away. The Void will go. Pylai Die might get Searing Chains here. He will. They're pretty far up. Pylai Die, Fairy Fires. He might be able to live. They're going to try to turn on KYXY. We'll take a couple of tower hits. MSS now going to get voided. He has another Eluse hero back in 3 seconds. He's going to just tango up real quick. Pylai Die kind of baiting that a little bit. Can't quite get the kill. The amount of right-click damage they pump out is pretty considerable considering they have the Precision Aura as well as the Chilling Touch from Pylai Die. So kind of close to turning it around there. Good effort from both teams, though.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how long Pi decides to stick around. I mean, if it's forcing dogfights and Super to both sit here, then it's definitely worth it. But if Super goes off to jungle and he's getting something and Pi's just kind of sitting in lane, I don't know if it's still worth it at that point, but we'll have to see.
Man. Super will Frostbite already, just trying to get some farm over here on the side of the lane. Again, the important thing to keep in mind is that Precision Aura was skilled up first, so Fata will have an advantage in CS now. Not by much, but still has a slight advantage against Sakata. We already talked about the damage down bottom and what that can do. We'll wait and see if Super's going to rotate out. It looks like he is going to head into the jungle. The Ward will catch vision of both dogfights and Super walking around, so they can start being a little bit more... put more pressure onto KYXY down bottom if they want to, considering the movement coming in from the IGV supports.
Yeah, they'll realize a little bit too late that Dogfights is already gone for the bounty rune, so Pi is going to miss out on that. But as you mentioned, just look at the CS. You know, KYXY has only got 5 creep kills right now. MSS is sitting at 11 and 2. Yeah. As expected, the lanes for NP are going pretty well.
This'll come in handy.
It's not looking that easy to start things off here for IGV. Nice Void.
The thing to keep in mind is that NP's lineup is supposed to win the lanes. If they weren't winning the lanes, something would be super wrong. And it would put like IGV at a huge advantage. Because their team fight doesn't really come online until a little bit later in the game, whereas, you know, Precision Aura with this many ranged heroes is online immediately. So yeah, you want your advantage as soon as humanly possible.
Right.
This is pretty much par for the course. The thing that's going to really dictate if NP can win is how quickly MSS gets to his core items and how the team fights unfold.
I also think a big... Spirit Siphon from Sakata. Fata. Nah, they're just going to harass each other. Again, Fata with Precision Aura coming out from the Drow level 2 now for Envy. Down bottom, though, fight about to break out. Waning Rift coming through. Pylai Die might feed away First Blood. They want Super. Super is going to get at least caught out, but it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. And it is going to be going in favor of IGV as they get the First Blood going to KYXY. So, nice stuff there coming in from IGV.
It was ultimately a trade, so they get the CM. But yeah, First Blood, you can still see the net worth advantage is just continually growing for NP.
They rotate AUI 2000 down bottom. There's an Observer Ward, but no Sentry. They're going to try to go into MSS. He will be able to jaunt through after the Searing Chains comes out, and he'll be able to get back to the tower. Pylai Die, meanwhile, heading towards the top jungle. Potentially might just be stacking or something along those lines. 4-minute runes are going to come out as well. And it looks like Night Stalker is not putting as much emphasis on grabbing the next bounty rune, as it is now nighttime. So this is where it gets a little bit dangerous here for NP, I would say, Andy.
It can be. What level is Dogfights? Okay, it's almost level 3, so level 2 Void is pretty good. Again, it just depends on, can you make Fata use his Blink suboptimally and set up a kill that way? That would be a very, very nice thing this early on. But Fata with a double damage too on top of the Precision Aura. Pi is also in a very good position, and they have mid like double warded. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything here.
They just dropped that second ward. The first ward is about to run out. Dogfights is not in vision yet. Jumping in. There's going to be the Blink aggressively. They will throw up that Scream of Pain as well. Need a couple more right clicks, and Fata cannot get there in time. The Void coming out. Now taking tower hits, so they're going to turn. Cold feet, and it's going to be Fata getting to kill the Fairy Fire in time. One more auto tech. Can Dogfights get it? Fata cannot blink away. but he will still bring down Sakata, a 1-for-1 trade. Dogfights will at least get a lot out of it, but again, Fata getting that kill on Sakata is huge.
It's big for the Night Stalker too, though, because now he's level 4, and he's going to get a couple of bottle charges as well, so he doesn't even really have to go back to base. I'd say all in all, any trade like that, where you go mid for mid, is going to inevitably favor IGV. Unless Sakata dies like 3 or 4 more times, then it starts to become a little bit problematic, but he's already doing pretty decent on CS. You're not going to really get that many denies once you start getting more points in a Crypt Swarm over a DP. But yeah, I still think stuff like that is going to favor IGV. Any trade, basically, that doesn't result in a bonus kill.
Here it is, the level 1 silence. Pretty freaking good. And then the second coming in from Sakata. That gets the kill. He gets silence at level 6 for Sakata. And again, that crippling fear from Dogfights is so good, and Fata gets caught out. Huge stuff coming in from IGV.
That definitely catches you off guard. Like when the level 6 silence comes out, you're like, what the hell? Why does he have silence? I think that's kind of a gimme kill. It's probably not going to happen like that again. But it's a very big thing. You know, you kill Fata 2 times in a row, you slow his progression. He's now fallen behind in regards to CS. Fortunately, though, still for NP, they have MSS, who is owning. Like, he's getting a ton out of his lane.
Right. I mean, he's becoming practically a mid laner for how much he's getting. He's also getting solo experience now after Piladai and AUI have been setting bottom for a while. He's up to level 5. Doing pretty well. He's a little bit behind the mid laners, of course, and also the safe laners as well in terms of the Drow experience. But good farm for both top and bottom. So even though Fata will go down twice, he's still getting good CS. And while Death Prophet's doing well, it's not that bad of a start for MP. I mean, this is what they need to do, as you mentioned. They should be crushing these lanes, and both top and bottom are doing so.
Yeah, you always want to try to get at least some kind of advantage when you pick Drow in the laning phase. They're going to get the tower quite early too, it looks like.
And that damage from Envy. Has the marksmanship, Dogfights coming in, looking for the TP with Void now going down. Injuly does not have Ravage. Excellent TP coming in. The at least the Cold Feet will keep Piladai alive for now, but here comes the Hunter in the Night from Dogfights. He doesn't have enough mana for a Void, but he doesn't need it. He just dives the tower, so they will at least get the kill onto Piladai again, but the tower's taken and Envy just TP's home.
That is the life of an AA against heroes that run at you. Granted, Pi didn't have any mana, but Dogfights didn't need any mana because he just runs at you super fast because he's a Night Stalker. That solo experience kill like helped him out a ton. Like he's almost level 5. For a position like 4 or 5 hero to have level 5 this early on is very, very nice.
All right. And they're going to try to make it more for the Night Stalker as they are smoked up. So too are Envy and Piladai as they head bottom. Gust, not available. And KYXY is level 5. Here comes the Cold Feet, the Ice Arrows. KYXY is dead. Envy shreds him. My God.
So much damage. Chilling Touch plus Precision Aura? So wait, you hit for like 250 damage or something crazy like that? Wait, what level is Chilling Touch right now? It's level 2. Yeah, so 60 on top of what he already hits for, so 240-ish. That is insanity. They are counter-pushing mid, though.
Yeah, they're going to attempt to take this. It is daytime. Envy's also putting pressure on the bottom tower. Here comes MSS to Lucio, but he's going to go for the jaunt in. I thought he might, maybe looking for that Dream Coil, decides against it. Tier 1 tower, there is no glyph. They've already used it. Now coming in silence. That'll be into Fat, so they can't quite find it, and they're just going to take this tower. Mid-tier 1 will fall. Exorcism is now down, and Envy will also take the tier 1 tower bottom lane as well. So it's a tier 1 for tier 1 trade, and again, that big cooldown is used for IGV.
This is really bad, though, because KYXY doesn't have a TP, and he's not 6.
KYXY.
He doesn't have Remnant yet.
Yeah, he's mega dead. See you later again. Jeez. So much damage with Chilling Touch. It's insane.
I really like the movement from Envy, though. Like, he just goes straight for the tower. They get the quick pick. They recognize that, you know, mid's being pushed in. They had the ward that saw the heroes. So they just go for the tower. And even though it's a trade, I mean, that's an exorcism. So they can potentially even just walk mid and go for the next tower if they want, because they didn't expend the Dream Coil or the Sonic Wave.
The thing I like about it, too, is also it gives room for Fat at top. He might not be having the best time mid, and so he's like, okay, well, I can just go farm top now that Envy's bottom, you know, pushing a tower. So sort of helps everybody out for NP. All right.
I can't believe Sakata is like... Sure, a lot of it was dogfights rotating, but he has kept pretty consistent with his overall CS. Fata thinking about maybe going for Injuly there. This is the really weird skill build game, because the Tide doesn't have ult yet, which Kind of makes sense if you're not going to be fighting, but probably assumes that he has Ravaged, so he doesn't go for it.
That's always sketchy. Maybe they'll know at some point in the future, but... All right, so 10 minutes into the game, Cicada's going to grab an Invis ring. Dreamcoil will come out. Do they have detection? Illusory Orb, Waning Rift, Frostbite. Here comes the Ice Blast, Sonic Wave. Cicada might be in trouble. MSS gonna drop him. They don't have enough damage with Super, and now he's gonna get turned on as well. Blink is up in one. Illusory Orb. Is he gonna jaunt through? Super about to die to Shadow Strike, but he doesn't get denied. Dogfights was in the midst of the auto attack, and Fata will get the kill. That was so close. They should have denied him there, and they couldn't quite do it from the Shadow Strike.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Man, that AA Blast is so life-saving in this kind of situation. Like, imagine if he was able to get that Siphon channeling for, like, even a couple of seconds. That's like 10 to 15% of his health that he would have had. Maybe, like, 1 or 2 autos, then he maybe gets another one off on Fata because he blinked in behind. That ability actually just crushes Death Prophet so hard.
Yeah. That's what we talked about in the draft. I mean, they're going to do it again. KYXY going to get caught. The Waning Rift is there as well. He's in trouble. He's got remnants. Will he make it out? No. One more auto attack. MSS. A lot of damage from that Precision Aura. Of course, the Puck doing so much work. Meanwhile, mid, they're coming in. Darkness is going to go. There's the Hunter in the Night. They cannot find the Crippling Fear, and Fata will just blink away. And all of a sudden, NP have accrued themselves a 5,000 net worth advantage from towers and kills in that mid lane.
And the funny part is, they're only up 1 tower. In the grand scheme of things, you know, they took mid on the side of IGV. And the top tier 1 and the bottom tier 1 were taken by NP. So it's like, not really a huge tower lead, it's just, that's how much they're getting out of their lanes.
Yeah. Man, that death for Cicada puts him a little bit behind. AUI has Overgrowth if they want to set something up. Fata is already here in the tree line, and now Puck is going to rotate up as well. His Dreamcoil is back up. Overgrowth will come through. Ice Blast to follow up as well. Cicada, his healing is done. Super is going to get jumped on and brought down pretty quickly. Puck silenced up on the back lines by Dogfights. Good job there. Super is already dead. Spirit Siphon going, not doing much. Dreamcoil misses from MSS. Cicada still chasing. Ice Blast now off. Another Spirit Siphon is ready. AUI going to come in with the Nature's Guys. Here comes the Ember Spirit. They want MSS. He gets silenced in the meantime, and it looks like he will fall. The Anchor Smash will do it. Fata cannot find the right target to go, and he's going to blink away. It looks like he might be able to make it out. 6 seconds for another blink. Dust is used in the meantime, trying to find AUI. Of course, he will stay out of it, and Exorcism is now down. And it's going to be, well, it's actually still going, but AUI now silenced up. They have a sentry, I believe. They don't have the detection. The gust coming through. Finally, Envy rotates in. They want to find Cicada. Sonic Wave coming through, blows up Dogfights. Can they get anything else? KYXY. Fata will TP away, and he's gone. On the other side, Injuly is taken down by Envy along with AUI to help out. And so they outlast the team fight of IG Vitality. Ravage was ready, but not used by the Tidehunter at the end of it. And so a couple of kills again going NP's way, despite losing 1 or 2 heroes, including MSS on that Puck.
He just bought so much time, though. Like, they're able to get the tier 2 in the bottom lane. Top doesn't die. It's going to get Treant armored. Granted, it's only level 2. It will still be a little while before IGV are able to get everything back up to go and push that. Exorcism cooldown for 80 seconds. They can push out the lanes. Like, this is looking kind of hectic right now for IGV, because they need to be able to take these fights and decisively win them fast enough to be able to push the tower. Like, that's the purpose of the lineup. But if they're getting baited into these drawn-out engagements and they're getting hit by, like, Ice Blast from across the map and getting kited out by Puck Coil, it just takes too long. So they're not able to get what they want in a timely fashion, and then somewhere else on the map, Envy's pushing a wave, or Fata's pushing a wave.
Right.
It's a little bit worrisome.
I would say so. And I was going to ask, you were talking about the cooldowns being, of course, being not there for IGV. I mean, what do you think about, like, when Exorcism is down like this, what do you think about taking Roshan if you're NP, now that you have a slight map advantage?
It's a little bit tricky against heroes like Night Stalker. He can be very annoying now that he has the new Hunter and the Night passive, so you can, like, fly in and get vision and stuff like that for the team. And plus, they didn't commit Ravage. That's one thing. So in July, recognizing the situation that his team is in and how difficult it is for them to really get in the fight, he's going for a blink before mech. And also because they have an AA. Mech is not really super ideal. You want to pipe instead.
Right.
But I really like this choice from Injuly because it gives them an avenue of starting a fight on their own terms. Because every single engagement that's happened so far is like Fata's blinking in, or they're getting Dream Coiled, or they're getting Overgrowth. They're never initiating a fight themselves unless they're walking to a tower. And that's not really initiation, that's just forcing the enemy team to react. So I do like it quite a bit.
Yeah, and I wish we saw this more often. I mean, mech first is so good usually for the Tide Hunter, but you can't underestimate the Blink Ravage. But we'll see if it's really going to help out for July and IGV. I imagine it will. I can see them winning a couple of team fights just based off the Ravage alone, along with the Exorcism to help out. But a couple other big items coming out. Veil for both teams. They have it on the Ember Spirit in the safe lane. Of course, in the off lane, Puck also gets his Veil up, and he's going to work on the Blink Dagger now. That's a very big item if he can get to it. The Yule Scepter finally finished for Death Prophet after he had a pretty good start and then slowed down because of a couple of deaths on Cicada. And the 7,000 net worth lead is starting to show here for NP. But we'll see if IG Vitality want to go for a smoke now that they have this Blink Ravage available for in July, and it's going to be exactly the case. They're going to move probably into the enemy side of the river and look for a Blink initiation. Pylai die. Radiant Scan will connect, and if he tanks the gank, I'm pretty sure he's happy with that. I believe he's dead. Ice Blast is going to get thrown out, but he can get silenced, so he can't get that second hit off. Throws it too little too late, and again, tanking the gank in the meantime. Fata top, and look who's bottom. MSS and AUI 2000 already pushing in to this tier 3 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower.
IGV are committed though. They drop the sentry, they're gonna pop the ghosts. They're just gonna go for it.
It's hard to fight into.
I think it's... I don't know what else IGV can really do about it. Like, the person who needs to be able to stop this...
They're going to cancel TPs!
Oh my god.
MSS is going to work at the tier 3 tower. They just TP'd right in front of a Treant Protector. Oh, that's not the play. Darkness finally TPing more heroes back. MSS almost gets to the tier 3, and now that everybody's leaving, they're going to try to find more initiation. Envy coming in looking for the Frost Arrows. Void comes down. He'll force himself away. Chilling touches there. They need more. Now Envy in trouble. Ice Blast coming through. He's getting chopped down. They're looking for Ravage. Envy gonna get caught and killed. Coming in as MSS. Will he go for the coil? He'll get it, at least one hero down, and that's Cicada, but they've already lost Envy. Now the Sonic Wave. They're looking to turn this. Dogfight's in trouble. He will drop down. Fata looking to continue on here. Another hero coming from the side is AUI 2000. They're jumping in. Scream of Pain. Here's the Searing Chains. Illusion Rope to come through. Maybe a Waning Rift. They'll find it, but they need more. Super coming back in. The Frostbite to come through. Veil dropped as well. But NP and an Envy getting a little bit too aggressive there, losing the Drow Ranger. However, again, that tier 3 tower damage done by MSS and AUI 2000 with the huge TP cancels.
They almost killed the tower, and top tower took about 30% of its health on top of that. It's not even as if it was just a one movement, and again, committing 2 ultimates, they didn't get the tower. Like, they got the Ravage, they got a couple of kills, sure, but NP abusing the situation, saying, okay, you got no Ravage, you got no Ghosts, we're just going to go ahead and take Roshan, and I don't really think there's a lot that IGV can do about this.
Right.
The other problem with that whole scenario is that now that their ultimates are down, they're going to have time to kill it and get extra damage on potentially even, you know, well, they can probably take the tier 1 mid. I mean, heck, it's 18 minutes in against a Drow strat, maybe we can kill that. But maybe even go for the tier 2.
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to be the case. They now have the Blink Dagger for MSS, which, as you talked about, is probably one of the biggest items in the game. In terms of him being able to, like, counter-initiate. We saw Envy getting kind of kited there, or rather slowed and chased down, and MSS will be able to help with that in terms of the counter-initiation. They will take the tier 1. They're going to leave kind of immediately, but Fata will grab it into his rune and then maybe continue on, as you mentioned, looking for this tier 2. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. No Ravage for 50. Exorcism is going to be back up by the time they go for this, but I don't know if that's enough on its own to stop them from pushing mid.
It's pretty dangerous to stagger your ultimates, but okay. Overgrowth here.
Ice Blast to follow up as well. Dream Coil onto 3. Beautifully done. They're going to come in. Scream of Pain.
Oh,
they've dropped 3 instantly. Fata finishing off what they set up for NP. Beautifully done from MSS. Pylai die and Fata to come through. And, of course, AUI 2000 to start it all off with that Overgrowth.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was very, very good. That combo in general. Just being able to get the heroes down that quickly, like the damage that this lineup outputs, it's weird that a tree is able to set up like just an insane amount of burst, because, you know, Overgrowth doesn't really do any damage on its own, but then you get Ice Blasted, then the Puck comes in with a combo and instantly 3 heroes dead. The 12k net worth lead at 19 minutes. It's insane.
Well, I will say this. This is what's supposed to happen with a Drow strat, though, right, Andy? I mean, this is where you're supposed to be.
Maybe not this bad.
Okay.
Maybe not like... The first couple of ultimate usages from the side of IGV, I think they needed it to do a bit more than it has. Because sure, you get a kill on a core, but you're just getting kills. You're not really establishing map control. You're not getting objectives. I mean, for crying out loud, they didn't get the tier 2 mid. The tier 1 top is almost at full HP again because they have a tree. They're not able to push the pace as fast as they want to. So even though they had a really good couple of early game rotations with dogfights, getting kills like 2 times on Fata, it just in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter much because their Ember Spirit is broke.
Yep.
Like this Ember Spirit is poor. Doesn't have bots yet. 20-minute game, only has a Veil.
Dire's top tower
Where
is
MSS
under
is sitting on a Veil, a Blink, and he's getting, you know, getting a Yule's next.
Yeah, he is in. A little bit low mana. There's all 5 top. MSS might get caught. Now blinking away. The silence will come through. Here's the Gush as well. MSS in a lot of trouble. He needs some help. He will have phase shift. They have another silence ready. Waiting Rift to come through. He's got blink in 3. He is getting turned on. Sonic Wave to come in. Fata jumping. They get the Dream Call off in time, and now KYXY will give his life the freezing field to come through. Cicada as well. Trying to fight with the Exorcism. They get the Aegis. It is going to be right now a 2-for-2 trade, including the Aegis. In the meantime, mid, they take the tier 2 tower, it looks like, for Envy, or at least they are in the midst of taking the tier 2 tower. Gush will come through. Paladai might die as well, but, you know, I don't know if they really care at this point, considering what's happening
They don't
there.
care at all. Like, none of what's happening top really matters.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah, this
tower
tier
is
3.
Unless Cicada dies.
Cliff will come through. Eul Scepter to come out onto Cicada. That was weird. That was his own Eul Scepter. And it looks like they won't be able to get the tier 3.
is under attack.
Yeah, they lose a couple of heroes for it, including Paladai, but again, in the meantime, this is the more important matter, I would say. However, Dogfights is coming in, looking for Envy. AUI 2000 will see Dogfights momentarily. The Gust will come through. The Nature Guys hit. Here comes KYXY as well. They pop the Dust. They might get AUI. He will use that Overgrowth to try to keep himself alive here. He also has a Hood of Defiance, but he doesn't have mana to use the active. Living Armor will come through. The Frostbite is there. And he goes down, but again, more space creation for Fata and the rest of the NP squad.
What's really telling about this game is... Oh wait, actually, Ice Blast is gonna get a kill? No, it won't get a
Very
kill.
close.
Has fallen.
But the issue is IGV are fighting, and they're outnumbering NP in that top engagement. And sure, they had an Aegis on the Queen, but it took them so long to even get the kills, and they had to chase, and it was messy. And they didn't just cleanly pick up the one hero or the 2 heroes and get the tower. They didn't even get the tower. Now they have to TP back to base. Like, all their lanes are being pushed in simultaneously. Oh man, this is very difficult.
Yeah, they got the tier 3 bottom, by the way. And Shrines are now
Yeah,
being
the tier
taken
3
down.
goes down. It's... Yeah, I'm not sure what IGV do at this point.
Well, the good news is they still have Rax. You have an Ember Spirit who can come back into the game, but again, as you mentioned, he's very poor. I think he might have died in that fight top 2, I'm not sure.
No, I don't think... Did he?
I don't know.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he didn't.
He's
actually.
1 in 5, so he might have. I'm not sure.
Well, either way. It's pretty rough for him, again, but that comeback potential is there. But in the meantime, top already getting pushed in the tier 3 tower. They have to TP Cicada back, and that means with Cicada teaming back, everybody else has to move back together as a team as well. Dogfights will be the last one out, but this will leave the bottom lane now pressured and pushed in by Fata. So even though the Aegis and Roche are both gone, MP can just kind of split this and push this in as much as they want. The Ice Blast coming through, the Waning Rift, the Dream Coil, the Illusory Orb, he will use himself. And for now, keep himself alive. It's not enough damage from the Ice Blast to kill him. He's like half HP, so he's fine. But that kind of like play, you're always scared of, because if there's an extra hero there like Fata, then you're probably dead if you're Cicada in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. You just get bursted to death, and then you die. I don't know. Again, it's tricky because IGV have a very hard time getting out on the map. So if they smoke and all 3 of their lanes are pushed past the river, it becomes very obvious that there's a smoke. And NP have shown that they don't care if you're sending 5 heroes at 2 of their own. They'll just run around in circles and try to outlast you and just push another lane. And it's been working very well for them so far.
In July,
So I'm kind of
Kraken's off.
feeling like... I'm kind of feeling like at this point, NP kind of need to overextend a bit, and then maybe IGV get a good base fight, and then they can kind of get the lanes out again. Because Ember is supposed to be the hero in this game who is like running around and pushing out lanes and being that fight-oriented hero that you need to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. But the issue is KYXY's lane was so hard, like that Puck AA, they after a while they just abandoned him. They're like, look, we can't do anything for you anymore. We're out. So he struggles.
It's not a fun game for him for sure, but the game's not over yet at the very least. There's a 17,000 net worth advantage. This has turned to a lot more than it was previously. I mean, this is a considerable lead. Whenever you see it all red or all green on the top net worth bar, that's how you know it's bad. And there's going to be an axe pretty soon for Paladai. He goes for the gold talent, the 60 gold per minute talent, and he is already up to just 1 component away from this Aghanim Scepter, along with an urn. and tread. That's how well he's doing in this game. That's how well NP are doing. They also now have the BKB for the Drow Ranger, which means he could just kind of push high ground, especially with an Aegis, and not really worry about Ravage or anything else. So there's some big items coming out here, Andy. And again, NP they're putting the pressure on, and I don't know. IGV have to find something here with his side, especially.
It's a lot easier to say than to do if you're IGV.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they don't have. So the Ember was kind of like their last ditch effort to get some assured catch and also some hero who can like be all over the place and side push and whatever. Oh god, Cicada.
Yeah, this could be trouble.
Not like this.
Yule Scepter, Ice Blast to come through. The silence is there. Ice Blast does narrowly hit, but he's speedy and trying to get away now. Will they be able to chase him down? They need MSS, but he's not quite there yet. So it looks like he will survive. Good effort coming in from NP, and that's the scary situation too. You're like maybe a little bit out of position and you almost died. It's frightening.
If Fada had spotted him when he blinked and got the Sonic Wave, there's a good chance he would have just died.
IGV.
I'm not sure if he was in the ward vision though. That's the thing, because they had a ward on the top of the hill, but I don't think he saw him.
Yeah. Ooh. That sentry gonna counter this ward. Making sure IGV have at least some semblance of vision, but they've now lost their second shrine. And they're barely hanging on to this game right now. Like, it's not good. But, alright. Roche is up, and that will be probably NP trying to take it. However, again, here's the thing. You lose one team fight around Roche for NP, and all of a sudden you might lose a lot, but they're going to have to be a lot of ults committed here from IGV in order to do so.
They need to, again, overextend. That's really what IGV are looking for. Try to bait them into an engagement that they can't win. Like, beat them with buybacks or something. That's usually, in this situation, how a team can turn a game, is one team gets overconfident, then they go a little bit too ham, couple of buybacks, and you win the fight, and then maybe get an objective off of it. But unfortunately for IGV, they have a courier sitting over Roshan, so NP are going to know exactly when it spawns.
Oh my god, Super is dead. The silence will come out. They're working on the racks. However, the glyph will come out. BKB force from Fata, and now they need to be careful if you're NP with that down. Yeah, I mean, that could have turned.
Roshan is up, by the way.
Yep, they know. They're going to head back over there at some point in time. And, like, this is where if you dove a shrine, if you're like pushing in mid for NP, that would be what really could turn it around for IGV, is like fighting around your shrine, getting a Ravage off, getting your exorcism going, and like, I don't know, man. It could work, but the thing is they're already backing up now because they know the BKB from Fata is on cooldown. And they'll probably go to Roche at some point in the near future.
Well, they'll have double BKB, so Envy has his as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then there you have a pipe on Aoi. Oh man, this game is like... They're going for kind of a panic smoke here. They're going to see if they can catch any stragglers in the bottom lane.
AUI TPing out in time. Dust will go. MSS phase shifts. He might be able to blink away. Waning Rift comes out. Can he jaunt through? Nope. He's in trouble. Although he has his blink up. No,
nah,
like
he's dead.
All right, well, they'll find MSS. That's pretty nice. It's a nice little kill. All right.
The real question is, what IGV get off this kill? They need to push out the lanes. They need to try to get vision for Roshan. I guess that would be like priority number 1 and 2 at this juncture. Then, I don't know. Even in a 4v5, like, they might not like win the fight if you're NP, but I think they can just walk it off, you know, just run away. And I don't know if they would be able to effectively get kills with BKBs on Fata and Envy.
Mm-hmm. It's not easy. They also have IGV now have to fight into the Pylai Diagonum Scepter with Ice Blast, so good luck. Enjoy. That's not fun.
Yeah, they don't even have time to pressure for Roshan because MSS respawns too fast, so he's gonna TP probably as soon as he's up.
And look at top being pushed in already. They'll see the TP back from Cicada. And maybe that might be the go here for NP to head into Roche. Or just split up the lanes and keep them pushed in. We'll see. Yeah, MV's heading into Roche. It's just like that. As soon as Cicada TP's back, they're like, okay, we can do this pretty quickly. But maybe this is going to be the opening IGV are looking for. Envy's the only one in the Roche pit right now. We'll see. I mean, they have vision. They saw him go in that pit, I believe. He might have actually... They might have just missed him. The ward is a little bit outside of Roche. They should know, I would imagine, for IGV.
Yeah, they know. But the real issue is, can they do something about it? I guess they have Blink Tide. Blink Force Tide. So he can get in really fast, but He's not there. Like, he's just not by Roshan. And he TP'd somewhere? Okay, that was weird.
All right, Fata, man fighting, has
He-
to pop his BKB.
That's fine, though. He buys time for the team.
Yeah.
The Tidehunter thought his shrine was up and tried to TP, and in July just TP'd to the tier 3 and then immediately canceled it. He's like, wait, what? We don't have a shrine.
Uh-oh. All right, Envy's walking up. He does have BKB and Aegis. He's going to, I think, just let the Aegis go. He's not popping it right now. Exorcism to come through. The Ice Blast will hit. I believe on the Cicada. Does it actually hit on anybody? I'm not sure. I think it missed completely. Envy, now the Aegis gone. He pops the BKB as well. Hurricane Pike is up. Good overgrowth to come through. Can they do anything with this? Now the Sonic Wave KYXY is done. He does have buyback, but he is down for 50 seconds otherwise. Looking for more. Envy trying to chase down Super. Now getting caught. They do have in July with that Ravage. And he might pop in here. They want this kill on Envy. Can they get it? The sound's coming through. They get it done. They also brought MSS down. They have to buy back on KYXY. Now AUI 2000 try to run as well. And looks like they don't have the vision. I believe they have the gem up on the dogfights. They know where he is. They're trying to chase him down. But the problem is AUI 2000 is so damn fast. And they might be able to chase him. Meanwhile, Fata, they ping for him as well. There's an Observer Ward. Fata needs to be careful. But he does have his BKB back off cooldown as well as a cheese. So they get those 2 big kills. But again, the question is what can they do with it now that Exorcism is down?
I think just winning the fight in of itself there is good enough for IGV. Envy was just a little bit too far ahead of his team. So they didn't even commit the Ravage. That's the thing that makes it a victory for IGV is they didn't have to blow everything at the same time.
Yep.
And they're also going to have the Ghost back up in about a minute. So with the BKB on the Death Prophet and popping Envy's Aegis with just Cicada using pretty much a Spirit Siphon and having the Exorcism popped, NP can't fight into it because they know that when the Drow respawns, she's going to be like horrendously out of position because the rest of IGB were pretty much surrounding her at that point. And even with the 4-man overgrowth, it's not enough to like get him out. So it was just an overextension, which is what IGV, they need that kind of stuff to happen if they're going to get back into the game fully.
I think if they hit the Ice Blast, they might be able. Well, the thing is, he has BKB, so maybe not actually. I don't know if he had the BKB in the last fight. I believe he did because it's down to a 9-second duration. So that's
Yeah,
the
he
thing. That's interesting. I thought with the Ice Blast hitting on a couple more heroes, they might be able to turn that fight around. But again, like you mentioned, in positioning air perhaps for Envy. But again, it is still a 21,000 net worth advantage. It slows that downward slope in terms of the graph, as you can see, but it doesn't stop the downward slope. It's still continuing on here for NP, and they're still in a good position. However, bottom, Cicada, perhaps going to chase after AUI 2000. I think they're just moving together as a team. Meanwhile, they're going to try to find KYXY, who remnants himself away as Fata and MSS are nearby. There was a ward that scouted this out, and MSS, of course, they're just going to push this in instead. Ooh. That's what I was waiting for, too, Andy, is the gem for NP. There's actually been some pretty good vision here for IG that's really helped them out of a bind. But now there is a gem up for AUI 2000. We'll see if they can't take more control of the map this time around.
No, it's never really been the map control that's the issue. I think they were just... Envy thought he was safer than he was in actuality. That's all it really boils down to. He was just a little bit too far forward, and sometimes the whole team is there, and then you die. So I don't think NP are going to be like massively deterred. It's more of just a little bit of breathing room for IGV for a short amount of time, and then as soon as everybody's up again, we're back to ground zero. You know, all 3 lanes are pushed. IGV are sitting in their base, and this is why the net worth lead keeps going the way of NP. It's not really about the team fights to them. It's just about the fact that IGV pretty much can't separate because there's an Orchid on the Queen, and there's a Blink Puck, and there's a tree whose invis running everywhere. It's very difficult for them to be alone on the map.
It's pretty frightening, actually. Especially for somebody like Super. He literally cannot leave the side of, like, anybody. They have to be together. They pretty much have to hold hands. It's not fun for...
Very, very troublesome.
Well, I mean, what do you do if you're MP? They have this giant lead. They lost Aegis. They still have Cheese. I guess you just wait for the next Roche. Is that what we're waiting on here for NP?
You can if you want. There's no rush. As long as the enemy team is constricted this heavily, you can take the game as long as you want. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be getting more out of the map than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at how spread out NP is right now compared to IGV, who have to run around with 2 to 3 heroes minimum to be able to accomplish anything or even feel confident walking outside of their base. Like, now they're leaving the base because the lanes are finally like going a little bit towards the river. But most of the time, if you can keep them clumped up like that, they're not farming. So it's like, okay, who cares? We'll just wait it out.
It's going to get even harder, too, because there's Mjolnir's up, and trying to take down these waves quickly is pretty easy for NP. But yeah, we'll see how it
This is
turns out.
some 5-man jungling mod. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's really riveting. Let me tell you.
I mean, it's all they can do though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They got put into this situation by NP's cumulative laning phase, just like snowballing, and then they lose a couple of Roshans, and now life is tough. I mean, the next Roshan that spawns is going to be their second cheese. So Fata hasn't even used the one that he had earlier, and he is gigantic, by the way.
Ron
22k
Cicada.
net worth.
Ice Blast. Oh, the Yules. Still going to get hit up by if he has his BKB. He might have to pop it here. But look at the damage from Envy. The Sonic Wave comes through Fatsa. Doesn't hit too many except for Super, who's getting brought down. Cicada is going to drop, though. Envy will get the kill. Gus not in time. KYXY just able to get out, as he didn't have his Yule Scepter up, so if he gets hit by it, it's a problem. MSS coming through, looking for more damage, and will find it. Gems dropped on the deck, and guess what? These racks are down. Just like that, IGV too far outside of the base. They get caught by all of NP and are in some serious trouble. KYXY trying to run it away, but there's that Orchid, and he's done so. 64 seconds to the sideline, and I believe, Andy, this is going to be game one going to NP.
Radiant's middle tower
Yeah, I believe so as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see them just GG here in a second. It was rough. I mean, I expected the laning phase to favor NP, obviously, but it didn't seem like NP got super ahead until like post 10 to 15 minutes. They kill the top tower, NBTP's bottom, and then they go for a trade, so safe lane from mid. And then after that point, it just felt like IGV did nothing for the rest of the game. Every time like they walked down mid, their top and their bottom lanes were pushed to the base. And MSS almost solo killed a tier 3, and they couldn't even push tier 2 mid.
Yeah.
That was so telling of how the game was gonna go. And yeah, IGV, they tap out. They realize, yep, we have been figured out with our Death Prophet Tide, which they have run before, I think, in ZOTAC Cup, correct?
Yeah, they ran it yesterday, man. Twice against Danish Bears. It worked.